guys, and welcome back. My name's Amy, and we have two allotment plots, both at the same place, but probably about 50 metres away from each other. At the moment I'm standing on our newer one. I've got a few jobs to do this morning. It is getting a little bit hot already, so I'm going to try and get them done quick so that I can get out of the sun, because otherwise I burn. I have put cream on, but you know, it only does so much. It's my parting that I tend to burn in. I did buy a hat, and I'm not very good with hats. They look ridiculous on me and I get really hot, but I did buy one to try and, you know, stop my head from burning, but as I say, I just get too hot in it, so I've given up with that already. I've got some things I need to be doing today. I've got a few seeds I want to sow. I want to give the tomatoes and squashes a good feed, and what else do I need to do? I need to harvest some patty pan, because there's loads, and I'm going to give everything a water, because we did come and water it last night, but I've just looked at stuff in the polytunnel, that's as far as I've got, and it's already bone dry, so that needs a little bit more of a water, and maybe do a little bit of weeding as well. And also plant some stuff out. I've got some stuff that still needs planting out, so I might get round to doing that. So I'm just going to use some tomato right that I've got. We do normally use comfrey feed, and the comfrey feed that we made a little while ago is probably ready, but I'm just using this for quickness and ease, because I just want to get it on, and that I have to get gloves and it's a bit smelly, so this, just add it in, add some water, done. So it says dilute 20 ml in 4.5 litres of water. Well, this is a 10 litre, so I just need to work out how much to put in there. And then I'm going to put that on all the tomatoes and the squashes and the ones on the other plot. So that actually will take quite a while, so best get going. I'm going to turn the hose on. Let's start off with these tomatoes that are in the pot. So that's one plot done. I've done all the chilies, the peppers, the aubergines, the tomatoes, the squashes, the cucumbers. Yeah, I think that's about it. So now I'm going to go and do the same on the other plot. There's quite a lot of pumpkins on the other plot, but not so many tomatoes. Quite a few peppers as well. So this is the pumpkin patch, if you like. I've got some giant pumpkins over there. Got some turban over the back there. There's a few courgettes and a patty pan. There's some honey bear ones here. These ones I'm not sure, but I think they might be butternut squash, because there is one growing through there that looks a bit like a butternut squash, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so we've got all of them, plus the little shadow. It's the trouble when you film when it's sunny. Some Jack Be Little, Jill Be Little and Baby Boo. Some over here. They need a good feed, because they just don't seem to be getting a move on. And then I've got a couple of pumpkins over here and tomatoes. Look at these tomatoes, poor things, falling all over the place. These are Tahiti melon squash. So yeah, I've got a couple of them. They actually haven't got any actual fruit on them yet, even though these are the ones that went in first. And you know, they've grown all the way over here, just not a lot of fruit on this, and give them a good feed as well. I've got one little, I think, Turk's turban there, and their Tahiti melon squash as well. So these are the patty pans. Let me show you a few, quite a few all of a sudden. So I'm going to harvest them. Right, there's my little patty pan haul. So I finished feeding everything. It took a lot longer than what I thought it would. I just forgot how many squash and peppers and tomatoes we actually had. So yeah, that's all done now. I'm just going to show you these chickpeas. I've never grown them before. So some people, there might be other people that haven't grown them before, so just see how they grow. So this is my little chickpea bed. These are my chickpea plants, and then if I show you in here, these, they flower, beautiful little white flowers, and then they have these little tiny pods that have just like one chickpea. They're not ready yet because I can feel that they're not, and I can also see where the sun hits them. You can see sort of see through, so I can see that the chickpeas aren't quite ready yet. But how cute are they? So you just get one little chickpea per pod. So yeah, you probably need a lot of plants. I mean, that's probably not going to be enough to feed us, but I just wanted to do it as a little trial, really, just to see how they grew. So this is our normal pathway here, but where these trees are so heavy with plums, it's really difficult to get through now, and it really hurts my back keep walking through. Normally in the winter you can just walk normal, but I have to duck right down underneath all of these to get through. So this is our old pea bed. As you can see, the peas are finished. We've left them and we left some pods on there so that we can use them for seed for next year. So what I'm going to do is just going to cut all of these plants down to the ground, leave the roots in the ground because they can sort of regenerate the soil. But I'm going to get rid of this top bit now. Might even just sort of chop and drop. So I might chop it and then just leave it on the soil to break down. So I've got this one little marrow plant that grew from seed. It did get a little bit munched by some slugs, but it does have some leaves and it's starting to flower. It's not doing very well in this pot, so I'm just going to chuck it out somewhere because it's just not going to do well in here, is it? So I'm just going to get a trowel and I'm going to pop that out somewhere. I'm hot. And there's a butterfly under the netting. Right, I'm just going to go and get that cabbage white butterfly out, and then I'll be back. Come on, out you come. This way. Go. Which probably means I've now got a load of eggs on my kale. To be honest, we didn't put the netting over to stop the butterflies because they don't usually like the Cavolo Neuro kale. sometimes not, they just don't, I don't know why, they just don't go on it as much. The netting's there to stop the pigeons from eating it, but so that's why it's got slightly bigger holes in that netting than the one we normally use, which is, so you can see this blue one, because the holes are really, really small, so then they can't get through it. So as I was saying, I'm really, really hot. Yeah, I don't know what the temperature's supposed to be like today, but it's about 11 o'clock now, so it's starting to get to the point where it's too hot for me and I don't like being out in the sun in the middle of the day. So I'm probably going to leave you here. I've just got to pick some tomatoes. What I did with the peas in the end is I did sort of take it all out. I left the roots in, but I took the plants out because I remembered we're going to put something else in there, so I needed it clear. So all of that will go on the compost heap and put the nutrients into the compost heap, into the compost. I have got something to show you that I'm very excited about. Let me go and get it. I tried to sow some loofah seeds, but they didn't work. I think I did it too late. But I managed to buy, look at that beauty, a loofah plant from the garden centre, whereas normally I've never seen them in the garden centre. So I need to plant that as well. I'm going to put it in the greenhouse in a pot in the corner, and then put some sort of string or netting up for it. Last year I did grow some in the polytunnel, but I had a few on there, but then I don't know, it all went to pot. We didn't come often enough and they just got ruined really. I'm just sort of watering the raspberries, because when I come and water in the evening I never really bother with the raspberries, because they're quite established and tend to do all right. So I'm just giving them a bit of a water, because obviously it is very, very dry. We've had no rain for, well, forever, seems like. So I've just sort of left the hose on and I just sort of move it around for them. The rest of it I will come back and water maybe later. Obviously the tomatoes and the all the bits that I fed are all okay. So it'll just be the other things. I've done some of it. The stuff that was in the shade I thought I'd do now, give it an extra water. But yeah, so I think that's what I'm gonna finish on, and I'm gonna head home and have a cold drink, a quick shower, and then I'm off out for lunch today. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.